Hello, my name's Andrew Brooks. Welcome to my YouTube channel. This video is all about the Wings tour that never happened. Hello and thank you for joining me on my YouTube channel. As I said in the intro, this video is all about the Wings tour that never happened. But before we get on to that, just like to thank all the new subscribers. We're getting new ones every day, so thank you very much for joining me, and everyone else in watching these videos. If you're not a subscriber, why not just click this little button down here on your screen, and you'll then instantly hear about any new videos of mine that I put out. They're a bit sporadic, they're not every week, so it's worth clicking, because then you don't miss any. Anyway, as I said, thank you to all the new subscribers. Thanks for all the comments. I do read every single one, so if you'd like to leave a comment, if I think it needs an answer, I'll answer it. And I'm also taking suggestions for future videos. If you can think of one that might be of interest to everyone else. Obviously, yeah, I've got a vast collection here, and if I can possibly do a video, then I will. So let's go on to today's video. It's all about the Wings tour that never happened, Japan 1980. Now, I'm sure everyone knows the story of why it never happened, but I thought I'd do a video about it just in case there's people out there who don't know the full story. And also, you know, why not watch it? You just might find it quite interesting anyway. So we'll just do a little bit of background first. So in 1979, Wings undertook a UK tour with plans afterwards to go to Japan. So, you know, it was done to sort of publicise Back to the Egg. So Paul, Linda, Denny Lane, Lawrence Juba and Steve Holly, collectively known as Wings, and along with the brass section led by Howie Casey, they began their 1979 UK tour. Started in Liverpool on the 23rd of November 1979, ended up in Glasgow on the 17th of December 1979. Visiting, sorry, I'm pretty sure that's the 27th of December 1979. Visiting Manchester, Southampton, Brighton, London, Birmingham, Newcastle, Edinburgh, all, you know, in between the two, in between Liverpool and Glasgow. And Glasgow, incidentally, was the last Wings concert proper, excluding Kampuchea, and it was actually recorded and mixed professionally. Lawrence Juba said that is the only concert from the from that tour that was actually properly mixed and recorded. I have done a video about the 79 tour, so you know, if I'll put it on the end, so you can just click the link and then you can watch the video about that. So as I said, they visited all those places, and then they also did an extra gig in London for the concert at Kampuchea, which has been available on record, not on CD unless you've got a bootleg, and it's also been available as a video. Hasn't been shown on TV for a while. No legitimate videos of it have been released. However, I do have a little clip of some of the rehearsals for the 79 tour, and I do actually cover them. It was shown on a British TV programme called Nationwide. Here's a quick clip of it.
At the Royal Hippodrome Theatre, Mr. James Paul McCartney, a musician from a more robust seaside resort in the northwest of the country, is getting a taste for Eastbourne rock. It's a rehearsal with his band Wings before they start their first British tour for 3 years. A tour which will start in Paul's hometown of Liverpool.
And if you follow the link, you'll see it will take you to the full clip that I have put up on YouTube. Okay, after the UK tour, the plan was then to go on to Tokyo and then do a Japanese tour, beginning in Tokyo on the sort of the 16th, 17th, 18th of January. I believe it was actually the 17th, for 11 nights. Oh, in fact, I've got my notes here, and the first night was the 21st of January through to the 24th. That was going to be at the Tokyo Budokan arena. That's obviously where the Beatles performed back in '66, I believe it was. So yeah, that's Tokyo Budokan. And then we move on to, on the 25th of January, they were going to go to Nagoya. Excuse my pronunciations. And then the 26th, the 25th and 26th were going to be at Nagoya. The 28th and 29th was going to be at Osaka. And then back to Tokyo Budokan for the 31st of January and the 1st and 2nd of February. And that was going to be the Japanese tour. Now, I did ask Lawrence Juba about the set list, because I was intrigued as to whether they're going to mix it up at all from the UK one, and he very kindly, Lawrence has been super helpful, so thank you very much, Lawrence, if you do happen to stumble across this video, but thank you very much for your input. So I did ask him about the set list, and he said it's basically the same as the UK one with a few extras. So the UK one, we had Got to Get You Into My Life, we had Getting Closer, Every Night, Again and Again and Again, I've Had Enough, No Words, Cook of the House, Old Siam Sir, Maybe I'm Amazed, Fool on the Hill, Let It Be, Hot as Sun, Spin It On, 20 Flight Rock, Go Now, Arrow Through Me, Coming Up, Good Night Tonight, Yesterday, Mull of Kintyre and Band on the Run. And then also on some of the UK dates they did Wonderful Christmas Time, but obviously the Japanese tour was after Christmas, so they weren't going to do that. Lawrence also went on to say that they were ready to do also Let 'Em In, Another Day and Live and Let Die. He says they did do rehearsals of With a Little Luck, but it wasn't quite right, and it sort of didn't quite make the cut. So I'm just turning my notes over. Now, there is video of the band rehearsing for the tour, and it was filmed at Paul's home. So it lasts for about 13 minutes and begins with Paul greeting Japanese fans.
Hello there, people of Japan. This is Paul McCartney speaking. Can you hear me? Oh, yes, I can hear you. Yes. We're just rehearsing here, you know, man. Yeah. Right? Is that right? Yeah, that's right, people of Japan.
And as you can see there, I did tag on a little bit of With a Little Luck just to show that they were rehearsing it. But as Lawrence said, it just didn't make the cut, wasn't up to scratch, as they say. Now this video, from all accounts, was filmed. Obviously, it's on a home video recorder, but it was probably going to be used in some sort of Japanese TV special about the tour. Also in the video you can see Eleanor Rigby and a little bit of Jet as well, so whether they were also thinking them for the tour as well, maybe not. The band rehearsed for this tour, for the Japanese tour, between the 2nd and the 10th of January 1980, so just after the new year. Now, there have been a few quotes from various members of the band. So Paul and Steve Holley, they both said that they felt that the band had not rehearsed enough and it wasn't quite right. After, you've got to imagine, they've just come off the UK tour, so you'd have thought that they'd have been, fairly tight as a result of that. But obviously, in this one, for some reason, they just felt it wasn't quite there. I asked Lawrence about it and I said, how did you feel? Because obviously Paul and Steve Holley both said that they felt it was under rehearsed and they weren't quite ready. He said he was fine. He thought the rehearsals went really good, so he had no problems with that. So next leg of the tour was obviously to get out to Japan, and the tour manager, Richard Ames, He has a website, and I'll put a link on for it, because it's basically it's his got his itinerary on there for the shows, and he's actually got a recording of his thoughts of what happened when they went out there. So that's quite interesting. So yeah, follow the link on the screen, and I'll put a link down below in the remarks, so you can follow it from there. It's a great little page, actually. It's very interesting, his little recording that he's got. He shares the itinerary for the shows, and he says the crew were there and they were setting up between the 11th of January through to the 16th in Tokyo. Okay, on Richard's website, he also gives a list of the hotels where the band were booked into. So when they were in Tokyo, they were actually booked into quite a prestigious hotel, as you would imagine. It's the Hotel Acura in Tokyo. So I also asked Lawrence, and obviously this is backed up by Richard as well, about the merchandise. Now, the merchandise getting ready for the tour obviously had to be prepared in advance. Tickets obviously had gone on sale. Now, I have never seen a ticket stub or an unused ticket for these concerts. I may be wrong, I often am, but I've never seen one, and I'm intrigued as to whether any still exist. Did the fans return them to get their money back, or did they hang on to them as souvenirs? Now, the only thing that was available as a result of the concerts being cancelled, obviously all the merchandise, any t-shirts and things like that just weren't needed. However, there were some things that did remain, and I've got one of them here. In fact, I've got two of them. There's another one over my shoulder. These are the tour programs from the cancelled tour, and they come in a very nice cardboard sleeve. As you can see, it sits on the top there. Wings Tour Japan 1980 on the back there, and Udo is the people who did all the promotionals for it, and more about them later. But when you open up the back, as you can see here, and the sort of the flap folds down there, we have the tour program. It's nice and glossy. There's the back of it, that's the front of it there, and inside it is just full of fantastic photos of from the Back to the Egg TV special there. Yeah, it's so nice to have this stuff. And then a little bit in Japanese about all the various members of the band. Which I don't read Japanese, so I can't tell you what they say, but I've got a fairly good idea. It just gives you a little biography of them all. Steve and Lawrence there. Yeah, more photos. Yeah, so if you can pick one of these up, yeah, they're probably going on eBay. I think they fetch about £50. That's probably about $60 a US. But they're well worth it if you can get one. The other parts of the merchandise now, both Lawrence and Richard both say that they were given, as well as the other band members and the crew, were given like satin sort of bomber jacket style tour jackets. And again, these were meant for on sale in Japan, along with maybe some t-shirts, and they never actually made the to the shops. However, the fan club really looked after its members, and they actually offered these items for sale. So for £4.50 you could get one of those tour programs for £21.50. Get it, £21.50 you could get the nice 1980 Wings tour jacket. I'd love one of them now. When you look at the sales list in the club sandwich, I'll put one up on the screen now. When you just look at what they're actually got for sale and the prices, you're like, oh, why wasn't I around in the fan club? I wasn't a member at that time. Why wasn't I around in the fan club to buy all of these things? Because they're just fantastic to have these days, because you just don't see them. Then obviously on the 16th of January, oh dear, this happened.
この日も警視庁裏口にはファンが大勢詰めかけています。
I would just like to point out the photo of the cannabis in a suitcase is just a picture I found on the internet. It's nothing to do with Paul. It's not Paul's luggage, so don't everyone get excited that there's this new photo of, of the stuff inside Paul's suitcase. It was nothing to do with Paul, that picture. It's just a stock picture I found on the internet. Yeah, sure enough, as Paul was going through customs, he was found with about 200 grams of cannabis. For us oldies, that's about I don't know, 8 ounces, half a pound of cannabis. And in a subsequent interview, he said it was such good stuff, too good to flush down the toilet. Got it in America on the way to Japan, didn't think anything about it. As a result, he was arrested, and he spent 9 days in the Tokyo Narcotic Detention Center. Now, this amount of cannabis, 200 grams, half a pound, was enough to sort of warrant a smuggling charge with a potential 7-year custodial sentence. So potentially Maka was looking at being banged up in Tokyo for 7 years if it had gone through. Now, during his time inside the narcotics centre, apparently there was screaming fans outside all day, outside the prison. He was known as inmate number 22. And as he said in his Wingspan documentary, he decided, I'm going to be the model prisoner. I'm going to be, when the light goes on, I'm going to be the first one up. I'm going to be the first one to tidy my room. I'm going to be the first one to roll up my bed. He wanted to be the model prisoner, and by all accounts, he was. He had, there was no special treatment doled out to him inside, allegedly. Who knows? No one else was there apart from the other prisoners and Paul and the guards. But it was communal baths, showers or whatever. And he just spent his time allegedly singing songs with the other prisoners. He had time to write short memoirs, which has never ever seen the light of day. But yeah, it was called Japanese Jailbird. There is like a copy of it that he wrote in a safe somewhere, probably in MPL, and it's never been published. The Japanese government probably felt that by the time 9 days are up, and I should imagine there's probably a little bit of pressure from the British government. 9 days, he'd learnt his lesson, and before any charges could be laid, he was released and deported straight back to the UK, and that was on the 25th of January 1980, much to Linda, the kids, the family and the fans' relief. Back in the UK, obviously now Paul had to start facing the press. Yeah, he did it while he was out in Japan, but now he's back in the UK. So down in Peasmarsh, outside the Waterfalls Estates, this gate, and there's quite a few pictures of Paul sitting on the gate talking to members of the press. Now, I've recently been sort of down there last couple of years or so, and the gate is still there. It's fantastic. You can sit on it, recreate the picture, but as you can see, the gate is still there. It's the same one. During his time, as I said, inside, he did write this book, which still remains unpublished. But upon his release, he also recorded this.
Oh well, hello everybody in Japan. It's a long time since I've been there on your TV screens, I suppose. But here we are in England. I'd like to say sorry about the mistake there, and hope we can come back sometime and not disappoint you next time, and have a good time.
Yeah, it looked like it was part of a TV, Japanese TV interview, because if you follow the link, there are other sort of questions. She talks to him about Frozen Jap on McCartney 2, which by all accounts, from what he says in it, he already had the song. He was just looking for a title, and that's just what he wrote on the box, Frozen Jap. So after that disastrous trip out to Tokyo, I asked Lawrence, were there any other plans to go any further, like after Tokyo and Japan, were there plans to go elsewhere? And he said no, it looked like they were probably going to be just doing Japan, going back, and then maybe a world tour. But unfortunately, as we know, when they did get back, 1980, Wings did continue. There is some footage of them rehearsing later in the year, and they're actually doing sort of stuff from Tug of War and things like that in there. But that's another story. Paul is quoted as saying, the joke was Wings would fold when they were done, but he actually described it more as like sugar dissolving in a tea, and they just disappeared, which in my mind is a shame, because the 79 Wings lineup for me is my personal favourite. I hope you enjoyed the story of the Japanese tour that never happened and all the stuff that went with it. If any of you have got any insights into the Japanese tour, I don't know if we've got any Japanese viewers out there, let me know. Did you or your mum and dad or whoever have tickets to go and see it? Were they disappointed? Have they still got the tickets? Let me know. I'd just like to give out big thanks to Lawrence Juba, Andy Wheel, and my good friend Simon Rogers for all their help. They've given me some sort of information, and I've been able to compile it and use some of their photos. Thank you very much for watching. As I said, please do get in touch. Please do subscribe. And probably by now there's already some videos appearing up here, I should think. Don't forget, if you have seen any of the links appear up here, just click on them, and then you can then watch them after you watch this video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.